Every teacher that has a pride flag in their classroom should be fired and arrested. The gay flag is a sexual flag. It represents nothing other than sexual things. Gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and questioning. What business is it of anyone on this board of what children would like to do with other children? It is none of your business. It is between them and their parents. But however, you guys want to illegally survey your students. My name is Frank Rodriguez. I'm the Executive Director of Operations for Gays Against Groomers. I'm a 31-year-old gay man pushing back against the agenda that's happening within our classrooms. Keeping parents away from this discussion is absolutely severing the relationship between a child and their parent. My community is not discriminated against anymore. Shockingly enough, we succeeded. Now you're sending out surveys that's asking students what their gender is, what their pronouns are, and whether or not you should be telling their parents. Could you imagine if my son or one of yours went to school and said, "Hey, I'm gay," and you never knew? All of you up here are pretty intelligent. You have doctorate degrees, you're educated, and you lead this district. But yet, you turn a blind eye with the sexual things that happen in your classroom.
Watch this.
I refuse to believe that any of you think that that's appropriate. Because if you think that that is appropriate, you would be a predator. There's images that are going to be displayed today for you to see of a child sucking another child off. And that's in your classrooms.
What?
I shake because it makes me uncomfortable to even utter those words to you.
This is a gay man.
This is nothing about inclusion. It is nothing about respect to my community. I say with you with 100% truth, according to the Center of Disease Control, that the reason my community faces such issues in this world has absolutely nothing to do with the straight people on this planet.
Wow.
Has everything to do with the drugs that we digest. Has everything to do with our access to health care. The number one reason my community has so many mental health issues is because they don't have access to health care. And that's directly from the CDC. It is not slurs, it's not gay bashing. We don't have access to therapy. If you really want to help the LGBTQ community to feel really accepted in this world, embrace that people have mental health issues and they should seek help. Having a classroom without the American flag in it is a disgrace to this country. If this country wasn't here, millions of people around the world would perish. And that flag, this flag, should be held high by every single student.
Dude, oh my
Powerful.
God.
Holy shit.
Oh, do you not?
That was fantastic.
31-year-old gay man
guy
screaming at the top of his lungs, America first.
Yep.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to First Reaction TV. My name is J Mart. So today we have a story from California where a school transitioned someone's daughter from a girl to a boy over the course of the school year. Now, mind you, this is an elementary school, so this girl was only 11 years old. And they did it behind the mother's back without her knowledge. So we have a slew of stuff to talk about today, like consent, teaching this stuff to kids, when should they be taught, should they be taught, what age should they be taught, if they are taught. I mean, just a whole mess of stuff. So we're going to get into a lot today. It's going to be a good video. I appreciate you watching. Please make sure you hit that like button, comment, and subscribe.
Hi, for those that don't know me, my name is Aurora Regino, and I am the mother that filed the lawsuit in federal court against Chico Unified for transitioning my daughter without my knowledge. I'm here today to tell my story so parents and the public know what is going on in our schools. Last year, my 11-year-old daughter was in elementary school here at Chico Unified, and her elementary school transitioned her from female to male behind my back. Shortly before this happened, my father had recently passed away, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. My daughter was distressed and began questioning her sexuality, so she decided to reach out to a wellness counselor at her elementary school. The day my daughter shared with her guidance counselor that she felt like a boy, the counselor immediately affirmed this new identity. From then on, the counselor continued to have one-on-one meetings with my daughter without my knowledge. During one of those one-on-one meetings, my daughter told the counselor she wanted to tell me about her new identity. The counselor ignored her requests and did nothing to support her in letting me know what was going on at school. Throughout her transition, my daughter changed very quickly, was bullied, and as a result, was very unhappy. And because her school kept this transition a secret from me, she was on her own. I'm a busy working mother just like the rest of you. Before this happened to our family, I would have not believed this was going on in our schools, especially at the elementary level.
So this whole situation just sounds rough right off the bat. I mean, this woman sounds like she was going through an awful time. Tragedy after tragedy with herself, with her father, a lot of stuff going on. And on top of that, being a single parent. So I took a couple notes just in those couple minutes, and there's a couple things that popped out. So you have a vulnerable girl, you have a bunch of one-on-one meetings, you have someone affirming that she is a boy, whether the girl thinks she is or not. You have someone telling her that she is. And then on top of that, the secrecy. Keep it from your parents.
I want everyone to know, I want everyone to understand that I want a space for our LGBTQ and trans community members to feel safe and supported. But the policy currently in place at Chico Unified has been damaging to our family. And I am not up here talking about what could happen if you continue this policy. I am up here telling you what did happen to our family. This was a time when she needed me the most, and you kept it a secret from me. I understand that you are trying to find ways to create a safe environment for all children within our district, but keeping secrets from parents is not the way to do it. Treating every parent as a potential threat to their kids is wrong. I know it's easy to make up a narrative when it comes to my case. I know it's easy for people to judge and say my daughter must have not felt safe or supported, and that's the reason for her telling her counselor. But regardless of what people say, I love my children, and there isn't anything they could ever do to change that. It wouldn't have mattered to me whether my daughter continued to identify as a male. I would love her the same. It's a slippery slope to allow any adult in our schools to keep secrets from parents for any reason. The actions the school board district took to immediately exclude me from supporting my daughter was very damaging to her and our family. She was very young and didn't understand what being transgender really meant or the obstacles she would face going through a transition. The school transitioned her and left her to figure it out on her own. It seems to me the district is getting it wrong on both sides. You don't know how to handle these very serious and sensitive situations because once you transitioned her, you left her to handle it all by herself, the bullying and the staff even outing her. Thank you.
Now, because she's talking at a school board meeting here, there is a ton that she's trying to get off her chest in a very short amount of time, and there is a lot here. But just some of the headline notes, she said it. It's dangerous for any adult, for any reason, to keep secrets about children from their parents. For any reason, it's dangerous. Her daughter didn't even understand what transitioning was. She didn't understand what was going to come with that. She didn't understand what it meant. She probably didn't understand her sexual being as an 11-year-old girl, which most children do not. So it's clear that the school isn't capable to not only transition a child, but they don't have health care there. This isn't a hospital. This isn't psychiatric care. This is a school counselor at an elementary school. So from a website called actionnewsnow.com titled Mom Suing Chico Unified Over Child's Gender Identity Shares Her Story. And this is from April 6, 2023. It says that the daughter began transitioning in December, and then the mother didn't actually find out until April when the school year was almost over. Regina told Action News Now during that time her daughter was bullied, her mental health got worse, and her daughter was uncomfortable with the sudden transition she fully didn't understand. Regina went to the school to address why she wasn't informed of the transition and was told it was due to the parental secrecy policy in relation to Assembly Bill 1226. Action News Now checked Assembly Bill 1266, and the bill doesn't mention a parental secrecy policy, but on the California Department of Education website, in a frequently asked questions section, it states that if a school discloses a student is transgender, even to the parents, it may be in violation of the California's anti-discrimination law. I brought it up with the principal, and we had gotten in an argument over the phone over the fact that she was arguing it was law. I told her it was not law. It's a law meant for discrimination. It's not a law to keep parents in the dark for very serious situations like this, said Regino. And like, I hate to break it to all those people out there that are like, yeah, they're gonna discriminate against their own child. We need to be careful. I hate to break it to all you guys. If that parent wants to discriminate against their own child, they're allowed to. They're allowed to. It's their child. That's how this works. It's not the government's child. It's not the school's child. Okay? The parent is in control of the minor. The minor does not have the ability or the right to consent to anything. So if the minor can't consent to anything, that means there's one person or possibly two people in charge of this child. And it's the parents. That's it. They're the only people that have the responsibility to this child. Now, thankfully, that wasn't the case here. The mother seemed loving. The mother seemed like she wanted to be involved. The mother seemed like she was comfortable and cool with her daughter no matter what, which most parents probably would be. They are going to love their child no matter what. If you're a good parent, you love your child to death no matter what the case is. All right, so now we're going to hear from some of the other parents from the school board meeting.
My daughter at the beginning of the year, she was thrown into a situation. She was coerced. She was tricked. She was forced to take her clothes off in front of a boy, violating her modesty, violating her dignity, violating her faith. You individuals forced her into that situation.
I was personally harassed by a member of the audience at the last meeting. And those actions were clearly visible by all board members and staff, yet nothing was done. In fact, many people were harassed by the same person, and if another parent had not demanded their removal, you would have let the behavior continue. The public has a right to speak to this board without fear of harassment or intimidation. You should have removed the offender immediately. The fact is, we do not trust you. It is clear by the words and actions of some on this board that you have an agenda, that you're willing to put our children at risk, and you've forgotten who you work for. You work for the parents and the taxpayers of this district.
Instead of assuming all parents are unsupportive of their children, schools should serve as bridges to connect families and to improve relationships between teachers and caregivers.
Public school employees have no right to exclude parents from their child's lives. They have no right to keep secrets from parents regarding their child, especially while broadly telling those supposed secrets to other students, teachers, and administrators.
Now, why am I bringing this to your attention? Because the state of California reasons that any minor at this age, 16 or under, or 18 or under, has diminished capacity. I repeat, diminished capacity to make sexual decisions, period. Sexual decisions of school children's gender identity must then be shared by a parent or guardian. There can be no secrets from parents in our schools. It's very clear you would like all of us in this room to just go away and forget about your secrecy policy. It's not going away. We're not going away. Parents want answers. Please help parents and grandparents. We want the best for our kids. Thank you.
1% of elementary school children have gender dysphoria, but you are affecting the 99%. Most kindergarten children don't know how to tie their shoes or recite their home address when they start school. But instead of teaching academic basics, schools are actually promoting identity confusion, emotional harm, and insecurity. Gender identity is taking precedence over student and well-being and safety. It has infiltrated schools without parental consent and at the expense of academic learning. You were elected by everyone in this room. You're undermining parents' constitutional rights to control their children's education on sensitive topics. Public schools should not become a place where children are exposed to radical sexual ideology.
The patterns of secrecy, lack of transparency, and the disregard and disrespect for parents and the public with how these meetings are being run mirror what's going on in practice in Chico's schools within the culture that exists among admin, teachers, and counselors who feel entitled to keep parents in the dark while transitioning students without their parents' knowledge. I am not surprised at all that this is happening given the patterns that we are seeing in these meetings, but again, it is very concerning.
And safety is not what we're organizing around here. It's not safe to put children in a situation where they're getting diagnosis from non-medical professionals and the parents are kept out of the loop. That's not safety.
This month, Congress will vote on enacting a Parents' Bill of Rights to prevent this dangerous malpractice from ever harming another child. This bill is directly spurred because of your actions. You are part of the national story that is infuriating parents across the country.
So there were a lot of things brought up at this school board meeting, but they pretty much all revolve around the same thing, and it's distrust. It's distrust of the school board, distrust of the teachers, distrust of the principals, the people in charge, no transparency. And when there's no transparency and when you can't get teachers or principals to answer simple questions, that's when parents become afraid, parents are worried about what's going on. It's also what causes things like this to happen. Those direct policies of not being transparent and refusing to talk to parents is what allows a school to transition an 11-year-old child. Let's see how the school board handled this and see what the results were.
John Leslie, good morning. This is happening at Chino Valley Unified. A decision there could dramatically affect LGBTQ students and their parents. Last night's meeting was packed with people waiting to speak before the board.
What this fight is about and what you're seeing such vitriol is people want to own our kids. Nobody owns our kids. Kids belong to their parents.
The proposed state assembly bill would require schools to notify parents within 72 hours if their student starts identifying as transgender. Some say parents have the right to know. Others say it's a first step in dismantling LGBTQ rights and protections.
You, the school board, will never understand the gravity of the danger this resolution places upon transgender students. You were supposed to protect students. You were supposed to support students. You were supposed to ensure equality for each student. However, proposing this resolution does the complete opposite.
My daughter sprained her ankle so bad that she had to use a scooter to get around. I had to have a doctor's note for her to use that scooter. Are you kidding me? But yet, when my child may be confused or may not know, he's unsure, she's unsure what gender they are, all of a sudden, secrets to the parents.
After about an hour of public comment, the board voted 4-1 in support of the bill. The bill currently in committee at the state level.
All right, so we just heard on a 4-1 vote, the school board passed it up to the state level. The bill now moves up to the state level. Let's see what the state of California decides. Let's see what the policy and lawmakers of California decide to do.
Democratic lawmakers in the state assembly won't even give this bill a first hearing that would allow the public to weigh in on this. Assemblyman Al Marasucci, who is the chairman of the Assembly Education Committee, made this announcement today. The bill is AB 1314, which specifically requires a teacher, counselor, or school employee to notify a child's parent if that child identifies as a gender that is different from what's on their birth certificate. Marasucci says he won't give it a hearing, not only because the bill is proposing bad policy, but also because a hearing would potentially provide a forum for increasingly hateful rhetoric targeting LGBTQ youth.
This bill was calling on educators, to basically require them to out students before they're ready to come out before their parents. And so it was unfortunately proposing bad policy that more importantly was at risk of hurting kids. And so that's why I decided not to set it for a hearing.
So once again, here we are, and the Democratic Party has decided that identity politics means that we can't give people the say. Nope, we can't give people the say. We can't have a hearing and listen to people. We're just going to say, well, it's a minority community, so that just automatically means that no one's allowed to talk, parents aren't allowed to voice concerns, and nothing we can do about it. That's the Democratic point of view right now. That's their policy, and these are their policies. That we can't even have hearings on this stuff because people might have opinions. If you're a parent out there, it wouldn't really matter whether they're Democrat or Republican who this will or could affect. It will affect all people and could affect all people.
It's a huge insult to the parents of California that the official position of the Democrat Party is that the parents don't have a right to know what's going on with their kids at school. I think most parents will find that shocking, that that's the position of the government.
That's shocking. Unfortunately for children, we know in these kinds of environments, when you create an environment where it's okay to keep secrets, you're allowed to keep secrets from parents. And not only that, you're actually encouraged to keep secrets from parents about the child. Predators will seek out these kinds of jobs. They just will. if this is their ideal spot where they can go to a place, talk about children, about their sexuality, and they know not only are they allowed to do it, but there's actually policies in place that protect them and protect them from ever getting in trouble because it's just their policy, what do you think's gonna happen? And you want to tell me that predators, people that are attracted to this type of thing, aren't going to seek these kinds of jobs out? Don't be naive. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, people need to stand up to this and say, hey, our kids matter more. And luckily this bill passed for its school, and this school can now move on. The sad and unfortunate part is the entire state didn't adopt this, and the rest of the country obviously hasn't either. Now, there's a federal bill, the Parents' Bill of Rights, that was passed in the House that pretty much does the same thing for schools and allows parents access to schools, and schools have to be more transparent. Now, that bill still has to get through the Senate, and with the Democrats being in charge of the Senate, identity politics will probably come into play again. As people, as a community, we all need to come together, aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents, we all need to come together and let our government know that we do not think that it is okay that you guys raise our children over the parental household. We don't think that. Nobody thinks the government is in any kind of condition right now to raise our children. Nobody wants that. So please let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you want the government raising your child. But please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. It'd mean the world. I appreciate you watching if you made it this far. Thanks again, guys.
Kids shouldn't be sexualized. They shouldn't know about this shit till they get older. If you want to leave because we're trying to protect kids, what's this obsession with kids? And no, we want to teach them and leave the fucking kids alone, bro.
Watch this video.